Alright, don't for an instant think that we have got away from A, B, H, and K. Alright, remember B and H are in here in the function, the square root function, so they're going to reflect us horizontally. A and K reflect us vertically. Then what happens to the output? So if you look right here, this guy right here is a negative A. And anyway, negative A moves us up and down, right? It affects us vertically, so this is going to reflect across the x-axis. And that's going to look like this. Notice I've drawn the original in a dotted line. So this right here would be B equals negative 1. Remember, B affects us left and right, so it's going to reflect us across the y-axis. Does all this seem familiar? Stuff we've done with other functions, right? So, and this one, oh my goodness, A is a negative and B is a negative. So it reflects us across x-axis and y-axis. So not only do I reflect across the, well, let's go x-axis, reflect across the y-axis, and it looks like this. Alright, so let's write the domains. This one right here, my domain still goes from 0 to infinity. Let's include 0. Right? But my range goes from 0 and goes down. So it goes to negative infinity. Range is my y values. This one right here, it's my x values. They go to negative infinity. So it touches 0 and goes to negative infinity as this graph moves to the left. And my y value goes from 0 to positive infinity. Not including 0, not including infinity, because I'm going up. This guy right here, they're both. Look, I'm going from 0 to the left to negative infinity in terms of my domain. And my range is going from 0 down to negative infinity in terms of my y value. And there it is. We can see how the A's and B's affect us and make us flip. Alright. So let's draw that one more time here. Here, I'm going to draw the whole thing. Alright, we've got y equals a, and then within this function we've got 1 over b separated by parentheses to x minus h plus k. Notice I've drawn the original function. Let's see what happens to it. Well, a is 2. So that means vertical stretch by factor of 2. B equals 3. Oh, sorry, there is no B. Let's get that B out of there. B is 1, right? Because there's no B written in there. It's the H value that's 3. And let's go ahead and put our K as negative 2. So that's 3 right and 2 down. So let's do that first. Let's move this point right there. Notice, I'm going to put some points that were on the original graph. We're going to stretch these out. So look, originally this graph went 1 over and 1 up from the starting point or the end point of 0, 0. Well, my H and K moved this end point. They moved them 3 right, 1, 2, 3, and 2 down. So this 0, 0 point went right here. Alright. Now instead of going 1 over and 1 up, my A has been stretched. So I'm going to go 1 over and 2 up. And I'm going to draw a graph that looks like that. Graph is finished. Let's see what it asks. Find the endpoint, transform reference point, and sketch the graph. Well, let me show you how those points moved. Remember, x and y changed the same way. Here's how x and y's change. X and y gets multiplied by b, and then we add h, and y gets multiplied by a and add k. So I'll move the 2 points we had. We had 0, 0. And 1, 1, and we can always use these reference points if they're hard. Alright, so 0 times b is 0, plus h is 3. Right? This 0 times a is 0, plus k is negative 2, so we'll see 3, negative 2, which we see 3, negative 2 up here. I'll push this up a little bit. Remember, my x values get multiplied by b, add h. So 1 times b is 1 plus h is 4, right? This one I'm going to multiply by a and add k. 1 times 2 is 2. Let's go ahead and subtract 2. Minus 2, that's my k value. and I should get a 4, 0. I apologize for that little comma right there. And I can see those 2 points graphed. All right, so I'm going to keep going with the next 2. All right, so here we go. Coming right here. All right, so let's identify. We've got A equals 1. B equals -1/2. H is equal to 2. And K is equal to 1. There's our stuff right there. So we know that, let's do our 2 points. We'll do 0, 0. You can do this visually if you don't want to do points. Ready? So look, 0 times B is 0, plus H plus 2. Right? This 0 times A is 0, plus K plus 1. I get a point that's at 2, 1, which you'll notice matches my H and my K. 2, 1. So this 0, 0 went to 2, 1. It is right here. Let's go ahead and move the point 1, 1 and see what happens to it. This other reference point that we have, 1 is multiplied by B, which is -1/2, and then I add H plus 2. This 1 is multiplied by A, which is still 1, add K, which is plus 2, and I should get 1.5 and 3. So let's do it. We get 1.5 and 1, 2, 3. And then we get something that looks like this. Well, that looks like it's got this reflection. So reflected over the Y, which is definitely what happens when our B is negative. Alright. If you'll notice, I could also do it like this. Once I found my reference point, I could say my B is -1/2. So instead of moving right 1, I move left 1/2. And then I go up. Alright. And I think we're good. Alright, I should have. So let's keep going with this. Alright, let's do A. A equals -3. B in this case is 1 because I don't see it. H is 2. K equals 3. So we can see something being stretched vertically, and it's got reflection over the X, right? So it should be looking down like this. Let's see if that's what happened. Alright, let's take our point 0, 0, and we'll move it. Alright, this one gets multiplied by B and added to H. 0 times B, 0 plus H plus 2. This one gets multiplied by A. Well, that's still 0. 0 times -3 is 0, and added to K plus 3. So we get a point that is 2, 3. So we got 2, 3, which is right there. Now we should probably go down in this direction, this next point, so we'll get an idea, right? I reflected over my X value, that means I'm going down. So hopefully our point will be somewhere out here. In fact, if I was to guess, I would say 1 over and 3 down. I'd say that's going to be our point because our stretch value brings us down 3. But let's go ahead and work it out. 1, 1. Alright, so I multiply this by B, I still get 1. I add H, which is 2. Alright, I take this point, multiply it by A, which is -3, and I add K, which is 3, which gives us the point 3, 0. Well, what do you know? That's the exact point we thought would happen. I'm going to draw my reference point going off this direction, and there we go. Alright, we got one more on this guy, I believe. There's actually a few. No, there's just one more on here. So I'm going to let you try D. Let us underline it. I didn't bring my highlighters up here. And we will report back on this. This will be something that we can compare, I believe, Tuesday in class with our partners. Talk to you soon.